Good evening, everyone. Life is like a card game. It's not the hand you're dealt, it's how you play the game. Throughout my life, I have been faced with many hurdles, from the neighborhood I grew up in to the color of my skin. I was not supposed to succeed. However, thanks to the Dan Murphy Scholarship Fund and from your generous support, these obstacles have not stopped me. My name is Bryon Fultz. I stand here this evening as a proud Murphy Scholar. To understand me, you need to understand a bit about my story. On July 17th, 2009, when I was 10 years old, I vividly remember waking up to red lights flashing outside my window and watching my mom give my dad CPR. I stood there crying, waiting for my dad to wake up, but he never did. He died from complications caused by an accident at work. My mother was afraid that I would turn to the streets like many other black kids to cope with the loss of my father. Money was tight, and the options for a good school was scarce. I wasn't sure about my future. However, I knew one thing. I knew that I didn't want to end up being another statistic on the news. To make matters worse, the summer after 8th grade, my mom was taking off government assistance, so we no longer had access to food stamps. As a growing 14-year-old boy, I was constantly hungry. Eventually, we discovered food pantries. I felt awkward and uncomfortable at first, but once my stomach was full, I got over the shame. Hearing my story, it's easy to see how I could have become a statistic. It's easy to see why my mom was so worried about me going down a dark path. But I refused to let that happen. I learned about the Dan Murphy Scholarship Fund from my grammar school counselor. At first, I thought I had no chance of being selected, but my mom pushed me to apply. I'm glad she pushed, and I'm glad I applied, because that decision changed my life forever. My mom is here with me this evening. Mom, thank you for believing in me, and I love you very much. Because of DMSF, I was able to attend Marist High School, where I have received a great education in a safe and diverse environment. Attending Marist not only provided me with the education that prepared me for college, it kept me out of my neighborhood school and away from negative influences. Of course, attending Marist didn't guarantee my success. It was my grit, my determination, and my ability to take advantage of the support offered by the DMSF that made my success a reality. Unfortunately, the difficulties in my life did not stop when I entered high school. In October of my sophomore year, my mother and I moved to Texas to live with my sister. But when we arrived, my sister was nowhere to be found. Unfortunately, we had already moved out of our apartment in Chicago, so when we returned, we had nowhere to live. We were forced to bounce around from place to place. We moved in with my uncle, who struggled with drugs. He sold all my grandparents' valuables to support his habit. When my mother and I arrived, it looked as if the house was abandoned. I contemplated getting in trouble at school so that I could get detention just so that I didn't have to return to that house after school. Eventually, we were able to move out, but even today, we have trouble finding a stable home. In addition to a great education, DMSF has provided me with an incredible community and an amazing support system. DMSF introduced me to my mentor, Lonnie Newman. Lonnie Newman had also been a Murphy Scholar. Lonnie not only became my mentor, but he is my family, like an older brother. Lonnie is also here this evening. Lonnie, you played a major role in my life, and I thank you for everything. I don't know where me and my mom would be without you, man. DMSF also introduced me to other students from similar upbringings. It is incredibly powerful to be a part of a community of students who have shared backgrounds. We give strength to each other. DMSF continued to be a presence in my life throughout high school. During one of my times I was homeless, I remember studying for my exams and receiving a letter from the DMSF staff telling me how proud of me they were. They said my grades did not reflect the crisis I was going through. I'm proud to say that throughout all my family struggles, my grades never dropped during any of these changes. I knew getting a good education would ensure my future. I never gave up. At times, it was very hard to keep focused, but I knew everything was going to pay off in the long run. Also, the many Murphy Scholar events helped me find direction in my life. For example, the college visits that we went on together ignited a spark in my heart because it gave me opportunity to see what the world had to offer. I am proud to say that my grade point average throughout my high school career exceeds a 3.9. I will be going to college. Something not many black teens from my neighborhood can actually say. I am very proud to tell you that this fall I will be attending University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. Thank you all for having faith in me and giving me a chance. Even through my struggles, I am still standing and I am stronger than ever. Thanks to DMSF, I'm going to become a success story and make my late father proud. Life does not always go as we expect, but I feel that so far I played my hand pretty well. Thank you.